Mason with Mary Brotherton, and we are back after a 2 week hiatus for the silly season. And during that 2 weeks, Mary decided that she wanted to take on a new life form, so she had a heart attack. Good thing it was during the break, but we are
Man,
back.
that was perfect. Do I know how to time it or what?
You know how to time it. So we are back, and we have so much to talk about. Starting next Tuesday, Lord willing, we will be running a webinar on the second Tuesday of every month on this channel, Riverside FM. We will set up the webinar and we will send out invites. If you're interested, you can contact either Mary or myself, and we will send you an invite as a guest to be on this webinar. We were going to do it via Zoom, but that didn't work out. So now we're going to do it here because once we are finished with the webinar, it archives and I can send it on Spotify. I send it on all of our social media, on YouTube, on our website. So it will be out there for you to learn from. We have gotten a brand new author named Chris Dunham. I've known him for almost as long as I've known Mary. I am working on his book called Right This Way. Now, he sent it to me in Notepad, and I am having to go in and put all of the quotation marks, the commas, apostrophes, because Notepad does not translate over into Word. This is one of the reasons I say I need everything in a Word doc. Nothing else but Word is going to work here because I am having to take a book that is almost 122 pages long and go through page by page and fix it. And I will do that for him because he is coming in to this little adventure as a novice, and I will do this for him. However, from here on
For
out,
his first book.
correct. From here on out, he's got to send it to me in a Word doc form. Also, beginning this year, when you send me a completed manuscript and you say it's ready to go, all you got to do is your thing, the cover, the graphics, the edits, the format, everything else is ready to go. It's ready to go to print. I put that thing up on Amazon, and 3 days later you say, "Oh, Yvonne, I'm so sorry. I need to add these chapters," or "I misspelt this word," or "I didn't like the way
Oh,
it sounded." I pull that book down, it goes to the bottom of my pile, and you get charged for me to put it back up. It's that simple.
you know, if you got lucky enough to get picked up by Random House, you send them your manuscript. They do their thing. They start printing, and you call them up or email them or text them and say, "Oh, Mr. Editor, Mr. Publisher, I found some mistake. My friend was looking at my book and she found some problems. Can we start over?" No. They will tell you, "No, we're already engaged. We're already in process. There's no way to stop the presses. Those days are long gone." And it boils down to, and I know this is hard. I know this is hard for a lot of writers. You have to trust yourself before you trust the process.
Yep.
And don't be like some people we know. My son, God love him, he's a great, brilliant author. And I'm not just saying it because I'm his mama. But he has my problem of letting go. He can't just release it and trust. And y'all, if I had not, I firmly believe this, Yvonne, if I had not put those, 15, 16 books out before my heart attack, I think God would have said, "She's wasting her talent. Let's just call her home." and my heart attack might have killed me, and I'd have died with nothing published, nothing accomplished. But I've got more than a dozen books on Amazon and more books waiting, and I need to temper myself. I get emotional and I start feeling my blood pressure go up. I'm learning to take a breath and remember I have to breathe. I have to slow down because my body is tired of going 1,000 miles an hour. But before you hit that button that says, here's my work, publisher, do all your final checks first. I know it's hard. I know it's eager. We basically have two schools of thought on this. Here's my book, you fix it, and you know, you're such a good, kind-hearted, benevolent human that if I find a problem, you'll fix it later. Which is backwards. But then the other one is what I was back in August, July. Oh, it's my precious. I must hold on to it forever and then I'll let it go. You gotta be somewhere in the middle. You have to be willing to let it go even if it might have mistakes. But it's your job as the author to take every step possible to make sure you don't have any of those mistakes. And for God's sake, please, y'all, don't let your friends or a committee of select people tell you what to do with your book once you've sent it out. Because it's just counterproductive.
And what people also have to understand is even in the big houses, ladies and gentlemen, I have read books by James Patterson, by Conley, by Tim Dorsey. There's mistakes. It is because we are human. But you move on from it. Nothing in this world is perfect. Nothing. Now, if I put a book up and I misspell the author's name and it's gone live and somebody catches it, that's on me. I'll take the book down because I have to take that book completely down and put it back up. That's on me. I fix it. But if you get...
And let me say this, because people might not understand when you say take the book down, you're basically unpublishing the book.
Everything.
And what that does is it stops Amazon's algorithm.
Yep.
It puts the brakes on everything. So, like, case in point, Ramonda's extended warranty is in the top 20 in its category of childhood and juvenile asthma or adolescent asthma. If I went to Yvonne and said, oh, page 47 has some mistakes on it, I need to take it down, let's fix that. Guess what that does to my ranking?
Wipes it out.
It wipes it out, I gotta start all over again. And Amazon might go, this one's a flake. Let's just not even bother to rank her book anymore.
And they will do that.
Yeah.
So, again, when you send me a book and you tell me it is ready to go on your end and I do my part and I put it up there to go live on a certain day, I only have so many days to tweak it. After that, when it goes live or before it goes live, like 3 or 4 days before it goes live, that book is locked. I can't touch it.
Can't touch it.
If you call me,
like MC Hammer.
Yeah, if you send me something, you say, oh, I need this fixed, and then it goes live, I have to completely unpublish that book. And then you're going to have a book up there, so somebody goes to order your book, it says, not in stock at this time, we'll let you know when it's available. You have 3 different links for your book up there, and only one of them is right. So understand that what we do here has a purpose. It has a process. And when you interrupt that process, you hurt yourself. And as
And
we
Yvonne, I
grow,
want to say something else. I know you have a knack for making every single author feel like I'm the only person in the world. I'm Yvonne's favorite. She'll do this for me. And even though that's true in my case, yeah, Yvonne has a way of making us all feel like the favorite child. And it's a good feeling. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't get annoyed with us when we start doing stupid stuff. I probably was on her list of least favorite authors when I refused to just let it go. I agonized, and we'd get together for lunch, and I would agonize every time over what I had to do. What do I have to? I said, and Yvonne just said, "Stop. Make a list. Make a list. Write down all the books you've got to go, and start crossing them off." And I'm like, "Well, I have a list, but I don't know how to prioritize them." She said, "Do it alphabetically. I don't care. Just do it." And I did. I threw caution to the wind and said, you know what? It doesn't, in the alphabet, A has to come before B has to come before C. But when you're writing your books, that's not the case. You have to go with the flow. So even though we are all her favorite children, her favorite authors, it doesn't mean that we have carte blanche to take her for granted or to take advantage of her good nature. Because trust me, folks, you don't want to see Yvonne not have good feelings towards you.
that is true. That is
She will
very
not just write about you in the sequel to Duct Tape, Tarp, and a Shovel. She might end up putting you in that dark duct tape.
and also what people need to understand is while I don't charge to publish these authors, this is a business. I run it like a business. First in,
Absolutely.
first out. If you send me your book today and Joe Blow sends me his book tomorrow and I'm already working on a book, I finish the book I'm working on and then I take the next one in line. That is the only fair way to do it. If Mary sent me 6 books, bam, back to back to back, and then somebody else sent me some books. All of Mary's books were done first because she was first in line. So if I have to stop in the middle of doing someone's book because you say, "Oh, take my book down right now because I need this done," and I go take your book down, it's going way past the end of the line.
Yeah.
I am on my computer from the time I get up until late in the evening or late at night, depending on when my body says, if you don't stop now, I'm going to make you stop. I'm either
Like
marketing your
mine did.
Yeah, I'm either marketing your book, working on your book, publishing your book, running stats to see where your book is, running stats to see where the videos are that I put up for your book. I create all of those videos, every one of them. And I go through, I can't tell you the mock ups before I'm happy. It's not, oh, here, let me just throw this up. I sent
I
Miriam,
saw Andrea's.
isn't
I
that
was,
cool?
that was so cool. I wish I had bigger scissors.
I sent Mary a video yesterday because now we are promoting If I Could Be a Butterfly, Sharks Bite Authors Right. And I was looking for specific narrator on the 7-second video. And the narrator is a child. So I am very conscientious about how I market your books. I know the market. I know what works. I know how it works. I also know that when I put up a synopsis of your book on Amazon, I'm not putting up a 3-page dissertation. I'm not putting up the team. I'm not putting up A, B, C, or D. A synopsis is just that. It is a small window of what this book is
It's a
about.
teaser.
Right. When I go to the website, that is where everything else goes. You do not want to bore people trying to find out, well, what's this little book about? Because they will lose interest. You will notice on your TVs and radios and billboards and whatever else you listen to, where there are advertisements, an advertisement is no longer than 30 seconds. You may have 5 minutes worth of advertisements, but each advertisement is no longer than 30 seconds. And that is
And many
because,
of them are less than 10.
exactly, because, and a person's attention span does not last any longer than 30, especially with advertisements. They want to get back to the meat of whatever it was they were watching. So understand that when I do these 7-second videos, they start hitting as soon as I put them up on YouTube and on the website. We've had as many as 300 views on one video. I also put them up on the social media page. I expect the authors to take that link and run it through their social media because they know people I don't. Anything that I put up on our Facebook page, I expect every one of my authors to share it on their page. And the reason for that is I share it on my page. I have over 3,000 followers just on one page. I also put it up on Off the Chain and on the author page. So you take 3,000 followers times 3, that's 9,000 followers that I reach on a daily basis just on my social media. Well, if Mary puts it up on her page, she's got 1,000 to 3,000 followers. You put it up on your page, that's another 3,000 followers. So the marketing is there. I just need for the authors to do their part. Don't just say, "Oh, that's great, Yvonne. I like that. Wonderful. Now, what are you going to do with it? You're tagged in it, so you share it out there." This we will also be talking about in our webinars because people say, "Well, I don't know how to market." It's not rocket science, people. I've been doing it since I was 5 years old. It is not rocket science. You don't need to spend bukus of money to get your work out there. This year, we are in the 7th day of the new year. January 7, 7 days. January the 2nd, we had already started selling books. Today, to date, as of 20 minutes ago, Midnight Publishing had already sold 49 books from different authors. 49 books. So we're doing our part here, but you got to do your part there. And sometimes I get the excuse, "Well, yeah, I don't care what you don't want. If you're coming on board here, you're going to be part of the solution and not the problem. Because we're not babysitting grown adults. I don't have time for it anymore." So right now our biggest seller, and this was another author I had to drag kicking and screaming into the world of publishing, and once I did, bless her heart, we created a monster. Carol Belavance's book, Holding On to God's Hand Through the Storms. Already 16 books of that title are sold. That's part of that 49.
Good for Carol. That's awesome.
3 months in a row, plus her other 2 books are selling, her 2 new ones, Add Then and What Is Lynn. She is now working on a book of her journey with her mother and dementia. So once you let go, literally let go, and say, "Here it is," the creative juices kick in, and you can't wait to get to the next book. Gwendolyn Law's another prime example. That girl's working on a cookbook plus another book.
Well, isn't Sherry working on a cookbook too?
She is. Plus, she's writing the sequel to Under the Dragon's Eye. Watching Sherry bloom, she's taken a whole new attitude about all of this. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, Sherry Ann Richardson does a reset day. She's about 10 minutes on live on YouTube, on Facebook, and talks about resetting and saying the same things that Mary says. Breathe, live in the moment, let go. And when you do that, you as an artist give yourself permission to create.
Amen. Look at Dale. Dale Veely. Took him 2 years. I mean, the day I met him, he said, I got an idea for a book and I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, okay, well, I'll get you through this. And I said, by February, I want you to send me the first 3 chapters. Well, 3 days later, he'd sent me 6 chapters. So he got going, and then throughout the whole time, he would come to me with questions. And how do I do this? Why do I do that? Blah, 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 blah. And I would just give him some guidance. Well, now he's finished his book, and it's one of Amazon's top sellers, top ranked in the top 100, I think. And he told me yesterday he's got 5 more books he's working on. I'm like, holy moly. I dragged this one out of you kicking and screaming, and now you can't stop.
And he was another one that was hell-bent on doing his own cover. And Mary said, trust the process. So when he saw the cover that was created by Midnight Publishing, he said, Yvonne, you made me cry. And he's not a crier. So understand, the way that the covers are created by me is when I'm going through your book, I don't just read and edit and format your book. I pay attention to the body and the voice of the book. As an artist, I see things when I'm reading.
As you should.
Exactly. So when that cover starts forming, if you're married to the cover that you've got, please don't be, because we do not blend in here. We're back to this. We embrace AI as a tool. And I'm going to tell you something. This is what I've been telling people since the get-go. When I was paying to have my covers done, let me tell you, my cover artist used AI because she went to Adobe. She went to Adobe and pulled down. That's AI. She blended different portions together to make a in-your-face cover, but it's still AI. We've been using AI forever and a day, ever since Microsoft came out with Word. Where do you think you get the corrections? It's AI. So there's a group out there right now that I refuse to be a part of that is asking all of the people that are in that group that embrace AI to disassemble themselves from that group. Because
I guarantee you, back in the Renaissance period, when people started pulling away from oil painting, what you got going on outside your office?
Oh, my girlfriend's she's coming in to bring dog food when I told her I would be at her house. Bless her heart.
People don't listen.
No, they don't. But anyway, continue with AI.
But back in the Renaissance period, people were discovering new ways to paint, new mediums, new ideas. Go ahead.
No, she's just bringing the dog food in. Go, you continue.
Oh. So anyway, I'm sure that there were people like Picasso. Remember how weird his painting, well, they still are.
Yep.
And Salvador Dali with his dripping paintings. People frowned at that, but now people are paying millions for his work, their work. And you have to embrace the new technology. I guarantee you, when people first started using acrylics, the oil enthusiast probably pitched a fit. Well, that's no good. It dries too fast. So you either have to get on the wagon or get left behind.
And that's what's going to happen to a lot of these illustrators. They're complaining, well, you're taking away our livelihood. No, we're not. AI is not taking away the livelihood. It is enhancing their livelihood. My feeling is these illustrators have a lack of imagination. Case in point, the Healing Real Life Adventures of Emily Rose Garden, my Seahorse Muse, was done by an illustrator, and she drew the illustrations like she was a 10-year-old child. Well, the author said, Yvonne, use AI to enhance whatever you need to enhance. And that's what we did, because some of those illustrations were not going to show up.
They're too light.
They're too light in the paper. The Mary's books, The World's Best Grandfather, there is no way that we could have drawn the different grandfathers and had such an impact in that book. Because Mary got grandfathers from different countries. So I went back and pulled those grandfathers' names, or what they were called, and went and found them. And so it is a realistic picture that if a child, let's say, is in South Africa and is reading this book, they will see what a grandfather from their country really looks like. So when people tell you, well, you illustrated your book with AI, or you got AI as your cover, tell them to take a hike. Because that is where it's going. That is the future of the industry. And we are trendsetters. We're not trend followers. We refuse to be trend followers. Mary's book, if I could be a mermaid, would not have gotten the traction it got were it not for the cover. Dale's book would not have gotten the traction if it were not for the cover. The Healing Real Life Adventures of Emily Rose Garden would not be getting the traction that it's getting were it not for the cover.
The cover is the first thing people see.
Exactly. It starts your story. So when you send me a cover and you say, oh, I've got to have this cover, I just love this cover, it's my favorite sunset. But what part of the story is it? Bonnie Clark's cover for Errol's Journey, putting together that cover and then sending it to her was so impactful, because when I did the video and you see the cover and then you see him walking away from her, and then on the back cover you see her standing there and him walking away, that's part of the story. That it makes you want to open the book and see how they got from walking hand in hand to him walking away. You have to keep an open mind. You have to understand you're not marketing to a small group of people. You're marketing to the masses. And when someone in your little circle says, oh, I don't like that cover. And your point is what? Do not.
Well, I think what bothers me the most is when I hear about these people who say, I showed it to my sister-in-law or whoever, and she doesn't like it. Well, so what? I'm sorry. Seriously, so what? Your sister-in-law is not the one who's buying your books. Guaranteed.
No, they're going to
And if
want
they
it for
do,
free.
they're only gonna, if they do buy it, they're only gonna buy one copy. What about the masses of people? The thousands, the hundreds of thousands of people that will be buying. Those are the ones you've got to appeal to.
I can guarantee you, if you take a marketing course or you go get a degree in marketing, the first thing that you're going to be told is you do not market to a small group of people. You market to the masses, because out of those masses, you're going to reach your target. It's called an 80-20 rule. You market to 100%, you're going to hit 100%. 80 are going to like it, 20 are not. So out of that 20 that don't, I can guarantee you it's your family, your small groups, your friends, because A, they're either jealous because they don't have the fortitude to follow whatever dream they have. B, they don't have the initiative to follow whatever dream they have, and they want to take away your dream.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't give them permission. And if I've already sent you a cover and you've approved it, and then it goes up and you get the book and Susie Q of, oh, I don't like that cover, you need to change it, and you say, Yvonne, can we change the cover? I'm going to charge you. I'm going to charge you. Because I have to take everything down again, hard copy, Audible, Kindle, paperback. Then I have to go back and rebuild a completely new cover, which takes time. You go to the bottom of the pile. It's that simple.
And to that, I would say, and I speak from experience, folks. I did that with Faith and Folly. I approved the cover with red font, and I got my copy. And when I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I can't even read this. It's too blendy in. So I told Yvonne, would you please make it stand out? Either make it black or white or something that pops. And she agreed to, and she did it. But it was on, the onus is on you, the author. When you approve something, that approval has to be concrete. I should have told her before she put the book up, oh, I'm not so sure about this red font. Can we change it? That would have been the time to do it, not after I got copies. Now I've got copies with the incorrect font, and I've got to sell them and hope for the best.
And you will. They'll sell.
I will.
But understand, a lot of thought goes into font, because font, color, background, and the image itself is part of what starts the story. And I spend a lot of time on I don't willy-nilly put your book covers up. I spend a lot of time on, spend almost as much time on book covers as I do putting the book together. Mary will tell you I have sent her pictures, images that I didn't use in her children's books. But I pulled them down to look at, to see, okay, what is going to go best with what I'm doing. So she has a whole folder of images that were never used.
And I use those to help market the book.
So you have to, again, and I can't reiterate this enough, every book, every author is treated like they are the only author that I have. But there's 19 to 20 standing behind you waiting their turn. And they deserve the same respect.
Yeah.
So, with this new year, Things are going to be done differently. When you come on as an author, we're going to send you the they're no longer guidelines. They're no longer mere suggestions, because even though we live in Florida and red lights, stop signs, and turn signals are speed limits are mere suggestions, no, these are not mere suggestions. These are hard and fact recommend guidelines, recommendations, must do's. And we're also going to ask you to sign a contract stating that you will abide by those requirements. That's the only thing that we ask. You get all of your royalties. I just sent out 2 royalty checks a couple of weeks ago. You get your royalties. I don't keep anything. In fact, I was asked that by an author. So, how do you get paid? I don't. You don't keep part of my royalty? No. When your royalties build up to a certain amount, more than $20, because PayPal likes to take their part, you get a royalty through PayPal. I don't keep anything. I don't charge anything. But I will no longer allow authors to run the business. Does that make sense?
No, you can't.
It's impossible. Especially Elsa Ward is coming on. She's sending 2 books to me. Chris Dunham is now with us. Delvili is working on 5 books. Mary's son is sending me a book whenever he wants to let it go. I know
Eventually he'll get there.
Mary's sending me books. Sherry Ann is working on 2 books. Gwendolyn is working on a cookbook. Ellie Ryan is working on new books. I have 2 books. One book is in the works. The other one is in my head. The Queens are going back to Key West. So you have to understand that this is a business. And we're going to run it as a business. And if you can't follow the recommendations, the guidelines, the requirements, we can't help you. And we want to. We want you to be successful. We want you to have your story out there. Thoughts, Mary?
Well, agree, ditto, yes.
Well, let's talk about the healing. Let's talk about the healing real life adventures of Emily Rose Garden.
Okay.
A couple of months ago, I got an email, and I had been recommended by a friend of mine from the West Coast. She had worked with Equi Solutions. Equi Solutions is a non-profit equestrian center over in the Tampa Bay area. And what they do is they use horses to help heal people, children and adults, with PTSD, with trauma, probably even traumatic brain injuries. They help these people heal with using these horses. They also use these horses with companies to teach team building. Now people say, Yvonne, horses aren't that smart. Have you met a horse?
Oh, yes, they are.
Have you met a horse? I own 2. I had 2 American Paints, and it was a mother and her baby. Those horses were absolutely almost smarter than I am. So Darlene Williams has had many experiences in the water because she loves being in the water. They live in the Bay Area over there on the west coast of Florida. And this first book is about something that happened to her. And what happened to her is she had gotten off the boat into the water, and a seahorse came up and attached itself to her finger. So she took that experience, and we have videos of that. She took that experience and wrote a story through the eyes of a 10-year-old girl. Now, Darlene is a counselor. She helps people overcome trauma mentally, physically, emotionally. So she wrote the story through the eyes of a 10-year-old girl. And it's called The Healing Real Life Adventures of Emily Rose Garden, My Seahorse Muse. And it is about a 10-year-old girl who has lost her great grandmother, and she and her great grandmother had this great relationship. And the parents are at the condo cleaning out the condo, and this little girl goes in the ocean and she has this experience with the seahorse. So, what Darlene and her team did is they had a jeweler create a bracelet. It's a blue lapis lazuli stone. And on this bracelet is a seahorse. And the object is for the child to have this bracelet and use it as a comfort to help this child, to help a child heal from grief. Because growing up, and I'm sure Mary learned too, at a very early age, I understood what death was. Because people have been dying around me all my life. So death was never hidden from us. You went to the funeral home, you went to the burial, you went to have food afterwards, you talked about it. It was not hidden. Would they die from a heart attack? Okay. Would they die from a stroke? Are they bringing them home? Because my grandparents brought family home. But anyway, but in this day and time, death is more times than not hidden from children and some adults. Why? I don't know. Because that's part of the circle of life. So this book, as it's being read to the child, teaches the child that death is a part of life. And it's okay to hold on to the memories because that's what helps us heal. The book is $29.95. It is a paperback. And the reason for that is when you buy that book, included with the price of that book is this bracelet. You send a copy of your receipt where you bought the book off of Amazon in an email. The email is in the book to equisolutions@gmail.com. They send the bracelet for the child. You can also purchase bracelets for yourself and other members of your family. Also, at the end of this book is a QR code where you can click on it and it takes you right to this real life experience that Darlene had with these seahorses. It also talks about the history of the lapis stone. It talks about how to help a child deal with grief. It talks about seahorses. This book is filled with so much information, it's amazing. All proceeds, or most of the proceeds from this book, go back to equisolutions to help continue the work that equisolutions does. So you can get the book on Kindle. You can also get it in paperback. And Kindle is the same. All you have to do is send the receipt showing where you downloaded it on Kindle. It's got the email. It's got all the information you need. Even it talks about the bracelet. This book is finally live after many revisions, many back and forth, going through many different people instead of the author herself. And it is finally up and running, and we are already selling this book. This morning we had sold 2.
Wow.
So share this book, order this book, help equisolutions, help people heal. If you know a child, have a child that is dealing with grief, maybe they've lost a parent, maybe they lost a grandparent, maybe they've lost a sibling,
Maybe they lost a puppy.
or even, yeah, exactly, a pet. A loss is still loss, and you still grieve. This book talks about not the stages of grief, but it's okay to grieve, and it's okay to have memories, because memories is what helps heal. The whole will always be there, but you're able to move forward, and that child is able to move forward because they're holding on to the memories. That is the newest release we have from Midnight Publishing. Duct Tape, Tarpon, No Shovel that I just released is the sequel to Murder in the Village. If you didn't laugh before, you will laugh now. Holding On to God's Hand Through the Storms by Carol Balaban, as I said earlier, is our biggest seller so far. Let me tell you what's happening with Carol's books, Mary. Now, Carol is from New York, where she went to church in New York. Sunday school class teachers are buying her books to use in those Sunday school classes.
Wonderful.
So she's reaching people that normally she wouldn't be able to reach. Um, what God is showing you is coming out next. Advent and what is Lent are already out by her. Welcome to Crowhaven Chapel. Andrea is happier than a pig in slop because
That one it just took a minute to take off.
and this is what I told Sherry Ann. I said, look, we don't look at how many books have I sold this month, because we sell one book at a time. Because when you sell one book, you've written the book, you're already successful. When you sell that one book, you're even more successful. So you have to take the big picture. Your goal is not to sell 120 books in a month. Your goal is to sell maybe one book. Maybe let one person know that you have a book out there and it's worth the read. It's worth the price. It's worth looking up and downloading or having sent to your house. Fractured Soul by Gwendolyn Law, which is her book of poetry. It's sold this month. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly by Peggy Engler, which is spiritual inspiration, has sold this month. Let's talk about Darlene J. Jones. Tell the people.
Let me start, because I met her a year ago at an author's event. Now, Darlene heard about me through Dale Veely. And I met Dale 2 years ago at another author's event. But when I met Darlene, she bought one of my books. No big deal. We kind of clicked, but I didn't think a whole lot of it. I thought, nice lady, got a book sale, great. We became friends on Facebook, and she's one of those that up until recently, I knew she was my Facebook friend, but she didn't interact with me. So I didn't think twice about it. Several months back, during the summer, I think it was summer, early fall, Yvonne and I went to Cocoa Village to an author's event, and it was absolutely surreal and magical, because people would look at my book, especially if I could be a mermaid. Who's your illustrator? And I'd be like, her. And then Yvonne would start talking about Midnight Publishing, and we would sell books that way. Toward the end of the day, this beautiful woman showed up, and she's just kind of standing back waiting her turn. We were kind of busy, and she's waiting her turn, and I didn't want her to just slip away, so I said, Yvonne, I'll be right back. Let me go see who this is. I kind of had forgotten what Darlene looked like. Shh, don't tell anybody. But I walked over to her, and she said, do you remember me? And I'm like, you look very familiar. She said, I'm Darlene. We met last year. I bought a book. Like, oh, okay. So we started reminiscing, and she goes, but at that time, the other people had moved on, and Yvonne and I were together again, tag teaming. And Darlene said, I've got an idea for a book. Okay? Get it to us. Here's what you need to do. We told her how to get the book to Yvonne. We're thinking she had a manuscript, she had some paper, she had something. No, she had an idea for a book. Now, would you like to take it from there, publisher?
She sent the idea, and I said, no. We need a completed manuscript. So she went back to Mary, and she and Mary sat down. Mary explained to her the process, and she wrote The Real Gift. Beautiful children's book. She sent it to me. I illustrated it using AI, and then she had questions about one of the illustrations, and I said, no, not changing it, and this is why. Then we did the cover, put it out there, and that book started selling like crazy, especially during the silly season. And the reason for that is because the real gift is not a gift. The real gift is a child. And at the end of the book, there's a child looking in a box with the mirror, and he sees himself. That is the real gift. And the purpose of that book is to allow children to understand that they are a precious gift, they're on loan to us, and we don't always have them. They grow up, they move out, or sadly, some of them die. So,
This is also an excellent book for someone who has been through abuse and has low self-esteem and is doubting, maybe I deserve this. Maybe my ex mistreated me because I'm just really no good. This little book would make an excellent, excellent gift for someone who is struggling with self-respect and self-esteem.
adult or child or teen.
Yeah, we are all the real gift.
Exactly. So after she sent that one and we got that one out, then she had talked to Mary and I about her idea that she had sent off to another author who was the author for Elf on the Shelf, and got absolutely no response. And then this is when Mary and I said, well, write it and send it to us. It sounds like a good story. And she did. And we published it, had it up, and she wanted to change the cover because her friends didn't like the cover. Her family didn't like the cover. It was already up being promoted
And selling.
and selling with the cover that she approved. So, I had to go rebuild the cover. Told her I would do it once and that was it. And now the book is still selling. This month alone, she's already sold 2 copies of each.
She was one of our top sellers in December.
She was. And I pretty much think she will be this month as well. The whole thing is people have stories within them. And sometimes you just plant that seed and let them grow. One of the first authors that I had, I introduced to the publishing world. She'd been writing all of her life. This woman now is 85 years old. She's one of my best friends. And I was putting together a spiritual inspiration book, and I said, Peggy, I want you to add some of your stories. And she said, oh no, I can't put my name on the book. I said, oh yeah, you will. Yeah. You will be doing this. It's called Soulful Inspirations. And she did. And I sent it over to the publisher that I had that had the audacity to die on us. And she published it. And when Peggy saw that book, it was like opening up a flower. She published 5 more books behind that. And the last book that she published is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And it's selling. It's already being read on KENP as well. She had some health issues. Hopefully we've gotten that resolved. She's writing again. The point is, when you give yourself the freedom and the permission to let go and let God, things happen. Ellie Ryan, she was blowing us out of the water with her book over the holidays. Her book, Secrets.
That was another bestseller last month.
Yeah, so Carol Bellavance, when she finally understood that it was okay to put her name on the book, this girl's on fire. When Sherry Ann Richardson understood that we would take The Chocolate Lover's Garden, now that book was a challenge. because she sent it to me in chapters in doc form, and it was a challenge, but we did it. And the thing is, I've watched Sherry go from a I'm not worthy to I'm just resetting and taking in the moment.
Yeah.
She's giving speeches, she's doing videos, she's doing webinars, she's doing how-tos. Her whole attitude has changed when she gave herself permission to let go. This one, my Mary, I'm so proud of her. Y'all have no idea how proud I am of her. She sent me Steep Steps, Faith and Folly, 1,000 Words, which is short stories that are nothing but 1,000 words in that short story. That one is live. From the Balcony. Now, if you want to see a dark side of Mary that most people don't see, you need From the Balcony, because this was written during a time of grief, and she was very angry when her mother died. And she wrote some short stories.
Let me show y'all the cover Yvonne made. It just happens to be sitting right here. Look at that. Is that not, where's my center?
There it is.
Is that not a cool cover? And then check out the back, folks. The back also tells the story. There's that woman falling. Different woman, not the woman who's standing there contemplating. It's just, we as writers do our job. Our job is to write the story. Yvonne, as a fellow author, an artist, and the publisher who's been in business for a long time, she knows what sells. She knows what you need to get the attention. Now, are these books going to be sitting on Barnes and Noble shelves? Some might. Takes a little extra work to get there. But they're on Amazon, and there are 44 million books on Amazon. I want this one to stand out. I want this one to stand out. I definitely want this one to stand out. You know, I want them all to be the book, but there are a lot of things that go into this, what gets attention. And we'll get there. We'll all get there, because Yvonne helps promote us with, well, definitely she cross promotes. If I post anything, she's posting it too. And not only is Yvonne posting my posts, Carol Bellavance, Brandy Hightower, and not Highfield, Hightower. She's in her high tower looking down on all of us. But a lot of the writers are now cross-promoting, because Yvonne and I started doing that kind of as a concerted effort. Then I went and had heart attacks and everything sounded like, whatever. But I'm getting there. But it is so cool for me to open up just Facebook. And that's just one channel. I have four. I have 4 different channels. And we were talking earlier about my son. He can't stand social media. I said, son, if you want your book to be successful, you have to embrace it. If you can only handle one, then by God, handle that one. Choose the one you want and flood it with images of your book and ideas and excerpts. Every book is promoted differently. But whatever I promote, Yvonne promotes. And whatever Yvonne promotes, then Sherry Ann is pumping it out. And then her friends are pumping it. So we've got this. I was just watching a show last night about the mycelium network in nature. The mushrooms and the trees and how they talk to each other. That's what we're doing. We have a network, and we just spread and we spread. And before long, it's going to be like a virus, and you won't be able to get away from Midnight Publishing.
And when this was started, Andrea told me, she said, Yvonne, I want to get on the ground floor before you become so famous you don't have room for me. This is a God-driven publishing house. And I say that every day. This is a God-driven publishing house, because when my publisher died,
How dare she?
it was rude of her. And then this
I
one
know.
has a heart attack, but that's another whole story. But when my publisher died, there was no one to publish my first children's author, who had waited 25 years for his book to go out, to publish Peggy Engler's books, who was so heartbroken because she had fought for so long not to be published. And then when she got published, she went, oh, wow, I kind of like this. So I knew I could get mine up there because that's what I do. But my knowledge does me no good if it doesn't become wisdom and I share it. So God said, hey, you need to do this. There's peoples out there that need to be involved. Whether we know it or not, God is all knowing. I don't know what's going on 5 minutes from now, but I guarantee you God knows what's going on 500 years from now. God knew that if Mary didn't turn loose of her books, she might not be here. God gave her an avenue to let go. God gave Sherry Ann an avenue to bloom. God gave Delvili an avenue to get his work out there. God gave Carol Balavance an outlet to get her to the point she's now writing the story of dementia in her mother, and have for years her mother denied that it was anything wrong. God gave Ellie Ryan an outlet for her stories. For every author we have, they're here for a reason. So God gets all the credit for this publishing house. Yesterday I got a message from Gwendolyn. She says, I know you don't do erotica, but if you know a publisher that does, I've got a girl that does erotica and she wants to be published. And the devil's sitting on my shoulder going, compromise your principles, Yvonne. Just get her out there. And I'm going, no, I cannot and I will not compromise my principles, because I don't drive this train. God is driving this train. God is the one that is directing. And if I go against that, not only do I suffer and lose blessings, but everybody that is under this umbrella will suffer and lose blessings. And that's not what we're going to do here. So we publish romance. We'll publish anything but erotica.
Well, my novel, Steep Steps, it's about sex addiction, but it's not a sexy, erotic book.
No. It teaches, it has a lesson in it. It's not solely for entertainment purposes. It teaches people that anyone with an addiction causes destruction within themselves and then within their lives and other people's lives. They're not an island. With any addiction, you hurt everyone around you, stranger, family, foe, frenemy, children. You hurt those people. You alienate those people. And until you, the addict, understand that you have a problem and you're the only one that can resolve that problem, the problem never changes. You can blame the world, you can blame your environment, you can blame the way you were raised, you can blame your job, you can blame this, you can blame marriages, you can blame anything under the sun, but it falls back on the addict. That they are not willing to admit, I got a problem. And the problem is me. And the problem is the fact that I allow an inanimate object, whether it's sex, drugs, alcohol, or
Food.
the 60s, we'd say rock and roll, food, gambling, spending, whatever that addiction is, until one comes to the realization, I have this addiction because I have not learned discipline and self-control. As my mother used to say, if you don't monitor your brain will monitor you.
Yep.
And that's what Steep Steps is about. I highly recommend that book for anyone that is in that situation, knows someone in that situation, to better understand that the best thing you can do is not enable that person. You don't bail them out of jail, you don't pay their bills, you don't make excuses for them. Oh, well, he was just raised by an abusive mother. That's an excuse. Just because you had a defining moment in your life does not define who you become. I speak from experience. Gwendolyn Law speaks from experience. You can only use an excuse for so long before it wears thinner than a sheet that's 150 years old and single threaded starts ripping. There's too many holes.
While you were talking, I had this thought that I need to get out
Go
about
ahead.
erotica. Erotica is just written porn. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. They think, oh, it's just a romance with a lot of dirty words in it. It's not. It is porn that has not been put on a screen yet. And there's a big audience for it. But Midnight Publishing is not a home for it.
No.
Because it's not that we're prudes. It's not that we are judgmental. It's just that it's not for us.
And not only that, but Amazon is becoming stricter in what they're allowing to be published.
Good.
And the reason for that is more and more kids and underage teenagers have access to ordering things.
Yeah.
And there are guidelines in place to try to keep that down, because it'll say, does this have any explicit pictures in it? I can
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, if I were to say, yeah, Amazon would say, sorry, we're not going to publish it. Does it have any explicit words in it? Yeah. No, we're not putting that out there. So, number one, I'm not going to put this company at risk because they will shut me down. And then I have to go hunting. And we've worked too hard to get you guys out there to do something that foolish.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I can say to those that want to publish BDSM or whatever it is, erotica, try Lulu. But then I'm not even sure Lulu will accept it, because
I don't know.
the requirements are getting stricter. We don't want that in the hands of children. And in some states, it can be a federal offense if a child gets a hold of it. I'm not putting y'all at risk for that. I'm not doing it.
It's not worth it.
No. Not when there's 44 million books out there and we want to stand out and get nice books out there. Just say it.
I learned another thing about Amazon yesterday.
What's that?
There are more than 10,000 different categories.
But they don't put them all up.
No.
Because with your book, If I Could Be a Butterfly, I went back and changed one category, but there's just so many categories that I could put it in, and we're limited. They don't put
Yeah.
all those categories up.
They only allow you to put it in 3 different categories, I think.
But even those are restricted. So we have to work within these parameters, and we have to make the best of what we have to work with. That is why it is imperative that you as authors And you as readers, help us help them. When you buy a book on Amazon, put a review up. Don't attack the author. Don't attack their style of writing. Find something in that book that you like, if it's one sentence. If you didn't
Even
click
if it's, why did you buy this book?
right, what was the point in buying the book? You read the synopsis, you understood the assignment, you bought the book, and then you hated it. Why did you buy the book? There's no logic in that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, we've had this conversation before. You write a bad review, and we're going to turn it on its head.
We're gonna use it against you.
Every time. So, be careful. Because we have learned how to take a negative and turn it into a, we don't live in a negative world, so we take negatives and turn it into a positive. So to my authors out there, if you get a review that's less than kind, send it to us, because we're going to flip that script like
And
they're
that's one of the lessons, I think that's one of the classes we're gonna be teaching, is how to handle the negativity, how to handle scammers. And,
Exactly.
and people that wanna send you emails and say, oh, I found your book on Amazon, or I read your, or they'll say, I found your book. They don't say I read your book. I found your book. And it's, give me $500 and I'll make you famous, basically. I actually started putting an automatic response, like a vacation response on my email. And it basically says, thank you for your email and your interest in my books. If you are trying to sell me something, or I think I said, if I don't respond in 3 days, it's because I'm writing. If I don't respond at all, it's because I don't have time for your gimmicks.
And also, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand, when she said we'll make you famous, a line from Billy the Kid came on where he said to the sheriff, I'll make you famous. They're not Billy the Kid and you're not the sheriff. If you've never seen, that's a classic line in that movie.
Yeah.
Because the sheriff is trying to keep him from breaking out of jail. He said, I'll make you famous. They're not going to make you famous. They're going to take your money and they're going to run with it.
And what blows my mind, they'll send me, well, let me just give you an outline of what I'm going to do for you. I don't care about your outline. And I usually don't respond, but if I feel magnanimous, I will respond with, well, thank you. This is exactly what my publisher's doing. They'll tell me that they'll redesign my cover so that it gets more attention. They will give me a 10-second video. They'll create a cinematic video. They'll post it hither and yon. They'll get me reviews. I don't want your paid reviews. I'm sorry. They'll get me in front of this. They'll give me podcasts. Well, excuse me, I co-host a podcast. I don't need you. And they tell me how they'll cross-promote me hither and yon, and they'll do this. I'm like, well, that's exactly what my publisher's doing for no cost. Thank you very little. You're dismissed.
And Marketing 101, the first thing you learn how to do is the pitch. And it's called a pitch for a reason. And the pitch is, my name is Sally Jo Harris. I represent XYZ Widgets. At XYZ Widgets, this is what we offer. They go down this list of all these things they offer. It's called the hook. They hook you in, and then by the time they get to, and for this amount of money, we can do this, and if you want to add to it, then this amount of money is what it will cost you. By then, you're sucked in. It's called reeling them in. And like I said, I've been in marketing a long, long time. I know the hook, I know the pitch, and I know how they do it. that come on like they're your best friend in the world. They can offer you something nobody else can, and it is the best thing since sliced bread.
And I don't offer this to just anybody. I I found your book so intriguing that I just had to reach out to you. Well, if you put in, I mean, I don't know how these people find us. They probably go to Amazon or they're on a watch list or whatever. But they find a book that's not doing phenomenally well, but is doing okay. And they take the name of the book, the author, and whatever Amazon has on there, which is what Yvonne writes for us. They throw that into Chat GPT and say, "Hey, tell me how to make a sales pitch out of this, or tell me how to rephrase this." So they rephrase it just ever so slightly,
A word or two.
and they send it in and try to get, they think that you're stupid. Well, I'm so stupid, I take what they write, I put their name on it, and I call it a book review. And I make a post about it, and I say, look what Sally Johansson wrote about Steep Steps. And that helps me sell more books. I don't need them to take, because they only want a minimum of $190. Nobody's ever asked me for anything less than $190. They think by not calling it $200 that I'm going to go, oh, this is a bargain. No, it's not.
So don't fall into that pit. And when you send us something that says, oh, well, Joe Blow's company over here is going to do all this for me, my first question is, how much is he going to charge you? You've got that kind of money. Well, if you've got that kind of money, then you don't need us.
Yeah.
Because we're the best show in town. We are absolutely the best show in town. And when we start these webinars, the reason we are, A, we're not charging, and B, the reason we're doing it online instead of in a stick building is because we have people all over the country that are interested.
Yeah. And once we finish a class, that video goes on our YouTube channel. Anybody can watch it at any time, day or night, tomorrow, next week, 6 years from now. The lessons will still be relevant.
So it is now 11:44. I have to go bowling. We've started back up. I'm sure Mary is exhausted. She may need a nap because she's still healing.
Yep.
So we are going to say adieu. And this will go up on YouTube. This will also go up on Spotify, where the webinars will go. It's going to go up on a lot of different medias, people. X, what else? LinkedIn, iHeart, Amazon, Apple, the website, all of our social media. So it's going up everywhere. One thing that we also want to do as the year goes on is bring our authors on here and interview them so that you get to see the face with the person's name and the books that they write. That is also on our list to do because we can bring on as many guests as we want to. So that is on our list, is to bring on authors and start interviewing them. So get ready. It's going to be a fun-filled and exciting year. Don't have another heart attack, Mary. It's not on our list.
No, it is not. It is not. It's interesting. Right before the show started, I got a call from my cardiologist, and they're taking off one of my many medications. So I'm really excited about moving forward. The first couple of weeks were tough, and I can't tell you how many people have asked me to write a story, write a book about this. One person suggested that it should only be like 12 pages and be a pamphlet that I can give to the hospitals. Like, no, the hospitals can buy my book if they want to.
Exactly.
I envision it as a short graphic novel.
Just
Exactly
like
what
we
I'm
did with
thinking.
Ramonda. Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, look forward to that. Look forward to Chris Dunham's new book,
And what's the name of that?
Right This Way.
Right this way.
It's
Like a carnival.
it's a carnival, but it's not a carnival you want to go to. That's all I'm going to say. Keep you on the edge of the seat on that one. Go and buy The Healing Real Life Adventures of Emily Rose Garden. Support Equi Solutions and help children that you know heal for whatever reason. Even adults. This book can be even read by adults. So can Slouch on the Couch and The Real Gift. Just because they're listed as children's books does not mean that you can't read them as a teenager or an adult. Trust me.
And another book that's good for adults, The World's Best Grandfather. It was written for children, but let me just open to a random page. I want to show you just the kind of images. That's one of my favorites right there.
Yep.
It's one of those books that a grandfather would love to read to his grandchildren, or have his grandchildren read to him. Make a great gift for Grandfather's Day, which is in September.
Or even Father's
And-
Day.
Make a great gift for Father's Day, which is in June.
Because you may be expecting a baby. Give your
This would make an excellent gift to give to a brand new grandfather.
would.
And, a lot of people want to give a gift to the baby, but this would be a good gift to give to the brand new grandfather. I do intend to do a World's Best Grandmother or the World's Sweetest Grandma. I haven't decided what I'm going to call it. I've been doing a lot of resting, relaxing, marketing. Marketing's been easy while I've been recuperating because it doesn't take a lot of brain power. A lot of people think it's intimidating. But we're going to do a class on that.
Yeah, we will.
Our first class, do you remember what it is?
Oh,
Manuscripts?
I think so. Yeah.
Submission?
I believe it is manuscripts and how to get them to me and what we require.
And guideline. Manuscripts and guidelines, I think, is what our first class is.
How to use words, what words not to use all the time, repetitive words, conjunction overuse, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And, we want to make sure that everybody has the best foot forward going into 2026.
I see great things happening. God is in charge, and I can't wait to see what He's got for us. So
It's kind of cool to be God's tool.
It
Oh,
is.
I just made a rhyme.
you're a poet and didn't know it. So with
Yeah,
that,
now look at my feet, they're long fellers.
we're gonna close and let Mary go rest. I'm gonna go bowling. When I get home, I'll put all this up on all of the social media sites, and have the day you deserve. And
Amen.
may others treat you the way you treat them, and know that this is all God driven. Mary, I love you, my darling.
I love you. It's so good to be back, but I am kind of petering down in my energy. I can feel it.
So go
So
take
I'm
a
going to
nap.
go sit on the couch, put my feet up if nothing else, and
We'll talk later.
finish my morning cup of tea.
There you go. We'll talk later.
Love you all. Bye.
Bye.